What's up, everyone? You're very welcome to Thursday night's Late Night Agenda. I'm your host, Craig. This is the Anfield Agenda, and this is your show. You let me know what you want to talk about. Liverpool related, non-Liverpool related, tonight Neymar related, or non-fucking Neymar related. Whatever way you want to go, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Carlo Ancelotti. We'll look ahead to the Reds game at the weekend against Everton. We'll go back over that match last night. We'll talk about the Reds midfield. There was a hell of a lot for us to get through tonight. I'm sure our feelings are still quite high after last night's one. I'm not going to lie, I went to bed like a fucking antichrist last night. I watched back some of that stream. My reactions were a little bit funny, actually, particularly around the penalty incident. So I apologise to anybody if I was over the top, but you know what you get with me at this point, folks. CJW was in, BQ was in, Christopher, Tom, how are we? Nabil is in. How the hell are we, guys? How are we indeed? Let me just start off tonight's stream by talking about something that's not really Liverpool related. It's about Rangers. Rangers were playing tonight against Villarreal in the Europa League. Not sure if anybody watched the game. But once again, a ridiculous refereeing decision fucked up the game. Completely fucked it up. The referees around Europe, they're just shambolic. I am sick to the fucking teeth of seeing poor refereeing decisions. This whole match rested on one incident that a Rangers player was fouled. The referee did not give the foul. 2 seconds later, a Villarreal player was fouled. The referee books the wrong player, and that player got a second yellow and went off. And this was in the first half. Absolutely ridiculous yet again. The quicker that VAR comes in for stuff like this, the better. Because it's ruining fucking games. It's ridiculous to watch. It's embarrassing for the sport. And what could have been a fantastic night for Rangers. Not that I give a fuck about Rangers. I'm just a football fan in general. I have no biases against anybody. But that was ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And if there's any Rangers fans that watching our stream, I'm sure you were fuming. Well done to them. They dug in, they ground out on 0-0. But the referee again, atrocious. Anyway, let's push on, guys. Let's have a chat about what you can see in the highlight of the highlight of the stream tonight, in the stream title. What is the best Liverpool midfield? Do we need a new midfield, or do we need a new formation? Let me know what you think. I've been quite active today on social media talking about this. And I've been defending Jordan Henderson for a very long time. And I'm going to continue to defend him. But I can't defend a poor performance. I can defend his captaincy. I can defend against people who I feel are being harsh on Jordan Henderson. But Jordan Henderson and James Milner, they just aren't dynamic enough in that midfield. Now, what do you mean by dynamic, Craig, or hear you say? I think you know really what I mean. They're industrious, they work hard, they can keep the ball ticking over, but we're lacking that bit of guile, that bit of craft. And whether that comes from a Shaqiri a little bit ahead, and Naby Keita coming in, obviously an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain would bring a lot to that system. But whatever the reason is, and I don't really want to point fingers here, because the midfield as a whole was shite last night against PSG. There's nobody who came out of that game for me in the midfield who smelled the roses. They were all average. Bang fucking average. So I want to know, what's your thoughts? What are the problems with this Liverpool midfield? What can we do to resolve them? Who would you like to see play? Is it time for Klopp to start really introducing Fabinho into the team? Because at this point, what have we got to lose? Yes, I hear you say our defence, I hear you're going to say our defence is really solid. I get that. But we need more. And I'm the first person to say here, hang on, we're unbeaten in the Premier League. We've only dropped 6 points. We're in a really good position, and we are. And I fully get and respect all of that. But at the same time, we need some guile. We need some craft. Whether that's one change, whether that's a little tweak of formation. I see a couple of people there suggesting a 4-2-3-1. Actually, more than a couple of people. There's quite a few of you suggesting a 4-2-3-1. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to go through your comments. I'm going to kind of hold off a little bit on how I feel about it. Because if I come out all guns blazing, I don't want to influence any of your thoughts. So let me just go through your comments. And thank you again for joining me tonight, guys. I do appreciate your time. Up the motherfucking VAR, said Stephen. How do you give a corner and a clear penalty? Well played, linesman, for telling ref to wise up. That was absolutely fucking disgraceful, Tom. As you see my reaction if you were watching the watch along yesterday, it was one of the most blatant penalties you'll see in the season. There was no contact with the ball. There was absolute contact with the player. And I've seen some opposition fans, some Chelsea fans, some Manchester City fans, some Spurs fans, trying to say that Mane dived for that penalty. Fuck you is my answer to that. That was a clear penalty. Whether he went through the player after Mane was on his way down, who cares? It was a clear fucking penalty. The fact the referee was given a corner is ridiculous. Thank God the liner, or the guy behind the goal, stepped up, grew a pair of balls and actually gave the decision. I think we're really missing the explosive creativity of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, said BQ. Liverpool Football Club, our own Liverpool Football Club. I hate when you put names like this in, guys, because it confuses the fuck out of me, particularly when I'm calling out your names in the stream. So you're going to be called LFC from here on out. He said Mane, Firmino, Salah, Shaqiri, Keita, Fabinho, Robbo, Gomez, VVD, Trent and Alisson. I think that's probably the first time I've ever seen a team put in reverse, mate. So well in on that one. I'm going to have to go back to that the other way around to try and make sense of it. Alisson, Trent, VVD, Gomez, Robbo. Grand, no issues there. Fabinho, Keita, Shaqiri, Salah, Mane, Firmino. Sorry, I'm just going through your team here in my head. Do you know what? I wouldn't be too far off that, mate. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't be too far off. The only maybe difference I'd have there would be Shaqiri. But then if I drop Shaqiri, who the fuck do I have for creativity? So I absolutely understand where you're coming from. Hi Craig, currently packing for England, said Jason. Oh yes, mate, you're going over for the fucking derby, aren't you? Nice one. Hope you have a ball, mate, and we're going to give them a kicking. So you're going to get a good game. Evening Craig, evening all, said Brian. Brian, how are you, sir? Great to have you in with us. Stephen Richards, again, another one who's suggesting the 4-2-3-1 formation. Paul Turner said, I like Hendo, but he's been poor in his last 2 games. Paul, that's fair. I mean, you're just pointing out something there that I think is very fair, and I don't think you're going to get many Liverpool fans that would disagree with you. We don't want to go over the top on Hendo, because Jimmy Milner hasn't been pulling up any fucking threes either in the past couple of games. Gini Wijnaldum, who has been very consistent so far this season, he hasn't been doing anything other than the bare minimum, I suppose, or what he'd say if you're in a job, he'd be working to rule, like he'd be just getting by, and that's not enough for us at this point. We cannot go. This is the first time, I think, in the club's history, I could be wrong, but this is the first time we have lost 4 games in a row in the Champions League. 4 away games anyway, in a row in the Champions League. 4. That's unacceptable for a club the size of Liverpool Football Club. And I don't want to point fingers here. I don't want to moan about the manager. I don't want to moan about the midfield. I don't want to moan about the forwards, because I love the club. I just want to find solutions without pointing fingers, which I think is something that's almost forgotten about at times between fans. It's okay to look for a solution and to agree that there's a problem without pointing fingers or being petulant or just blaming one person. There's an entire system here. There's 11 players take that field for every game. The defence seem to be doing their job, so no argument there. So for us now, being realistic, it's somewhere between the midfield, the forward 3 and the formation. That's the only places I see that we can perhaps change things around. Cameron is in. How are you, Cameron? CJW Football said, remember Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is coming back, so that'll bring a spark. It will. But what I'd say is this, buddy, and I fucking love Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I absolutely love him. Don't expect too much of him. I have a funny feeling that we're going to see him come back and he'll pick up another injury, because it's not uncommon. And I don't mean a long-term injury. I just mean a little niggly muscle injury or something like that. When players are coming back from a long time out, it's pretty common for them to pick up these little injuries. So I want him back as much as you do. As people have pointed out, he brings a lot to our midfield. But just don't pin all our hopes on him coming back, is what I'm trying to say. Why not Fabinho, said BQ. Fabinho was brilliant. We have to. What the fuck is the point of buying him and spending all the money on Keita? As I think the Echo said, Liverpool have a £93 million midfield headache, which is kind of true. Now, Keita's been a little bit unfortunate with injuries and stuff, because Klopp has played him. He's played him, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I certainly remember him being introduced, and I remember him playing games before his injury. Fabinho, on the other hand, is a little bit different. I've no problem with Klopp holding off until he feels he's ready to go. That's the manager's prerogative. The manager made the decision to buy him. The manager will make the decision when he wants to introduce him. But when it's clearly not working for us in midfield, when things just aren't right at this moment in time. And by the way, I'm somebody who's happy to sacrifice scoring the 4 or 5 goals going forward every game for these clean sheets. I'm absolutely happy to do that, because clean sheets win you league titles. So I'm happy to do that. But at the same time, we can expect more. We can expect a little bit of dynamism from that midfield. We can expect a little bit of creativity, a little bit of guile. These are professional footballers. We should be expecting this on them. And whether you're talking about your DM doesn't necessarily mean you cannot contribute going forward either. And Jordan Henderson moves the ball around very nicely. He keeps things ticking. James Milner, very industrious. He'll get up and down the field. He'll cover ground. He'll make tackles. Two very good footballers, but not elite. Not at the level that we need right now. Not at the level that we need to push on and really, really, really make a charge at the highest level. They'll do a job. They'll be there for the season. They'll come in. They'll playing games. They'll have an influence and they'll be grand. But they aren't the next level. For me, they aren't the calibre of midfield that we thought we were getting when we brought Naby Keita in. The out-and-out holding midfielder that we thought we were getting when we brought Fabinho in. I mean, let's be honest. For a very long time, a lot of us Liverpool fans didn't think that Klopp was ever going to use an out-and-out defensive midfielder. So when we heard Fabinho came in, it was a fucking breath of fresh air. So many of us went, wow, this is it. Klopp, not that he's learning, but Klopp can see. He can see exactly what's wrong here. He goes out and he gets them. That's another position nailed off. Centre back done. Full backs absolutely sorted out. Keeper nailed. Front line okay, not in form, but we know what they're capable of. And we haven't seen it yet though. We just haven't seen it. So it has to be time. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's worth rolling the dice now if you're Jurgen Klopp. Henderson cannot play on Sunday. No matter what happens, he's banned. He can't play. This seems like a perfect time to drop Fabinho in at the deep end. So you know what, son? You go out there, do your thing. This is a massive game. You go out there, you put in a performance. You make yourself man of the match today and this fucking crowd will love you. You will be a god here straight away. Go in there against Everton, put in a man of the match performance and you'll be adored. And his confidence will be sky high. That's what I'd be saying if I was Jurgen Klopp to Fabinho for this weekend. Cameron said, I think we've got too many workhorses in the team. We need a playmaker, maybe Fekir. Bobby seems like the only creative spark that we have. Oh, guys, I have to say, apologies. I owe a massive, massive apology to somebody. So I've been doing the shout outs for our sponsorship for the match day watch alongs. And I've been saying Tactics FM. I was completely wrong. Connor thought the very same and we were completely wrong. It's tacticsfc.com. And I owe a massive apology to my friend at Tactics FC. Massive apology. If you're looking for football podcasts, if you're looking for sports news, please go to tacticsfc.com. You'll find them all there. Every Liverpool podcast you want to listen to will be there. Every club's podcast pretty much will be there. tacticsfc.com. And my sincere apologies for getting that wrong for the past couple of games. I really do mean that. Tactics FM, that's all I'm saying, is not the case. Tactics FC is the case. I did it again. Tactics FC. I have to get that through my head. I have to write it down or something. I felt so bad. The gentleman messaged me to point it out. As nice as you could be, as nice as pie, and I couldn't believe I was so fucking stupid. So my sincere apologies to tacticsfc.com. Check them out. You'll love them. If you like podcasts, give them a go. Fabinho should play the holding midfield role, said Stephen Richard. We should try Fabinho, Keita and Genie, said Scotty. Jesus, I thought you lost a bet and were wearing a Man United shirt, said Martin. No, there's no bet that would ever make me do that. That just isn't going to happen, mate. So there isn't a bet out there that would make me wear a shirt. You'd more chance of me doing this stream naked than wearing a United shirt. And nobody wants to see that either. Somebody tagged me in a post earlier on. An image of me laughing saying, when your tits are bigger than your wife's. And the only offence I actually took from that, it wasn't that he was calling me fat or saying I've got man tits. I mean, that's a fact. That doesn't shock me. It shouldn't shock anybody else. The offence I took from that was him belittling my wife's breasts. How fucking dare he? He has no idea how magnificent they are. That's what offended me, fucking prick. Say what you want about these puppies, but don't talk about my wife's breasts. They're fucking magnificent and I won't have a word said against them. I'm going to be really honest, the midfield was the issue more than our defence, said Red Tick Gaming. Last night, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We'll get into last night's game a little bit more as we go along. I just want to have a quick chat about the midfield. We'll get into what happened last night. We'll get into Neymar. We'll get into what BTEC Klopp had to say. We'll talk about all of that. People frown at the idea of Europa League. I'm one of them, by the way. But look at Atletico last season. They were knocked out and won the Europa League and the Super Cup. 2 trophies in one season isn't bad. Beating Napoli is first. Mate, look. If we go into the Europa League, do I want us to win it? Of course I want us to win. I want us to win everything that we're in. But at the same time, I would rather use it for development. I'd rather give Curtis Jones a run. I'd rather give Phillips a run. I'd rather give some of the other young players a run. Brewster when he comes back in, Kleiny, players who just aren't getting games. I'd rather play them in that competition and leave I won't say the first 11, but the majority of the first 11, I'd rather leave them on the bench. When we get to the later rounds, if we got to the later rounds, then we'll relook at it. But for me, it's the league, buddy. It's the league. I want the league more than anything. Crosby Red said, Cater looked good versus PSG. Hilarious he got a red 5 minutes after coming on. I don't know what you mean. Cater didn't get a red. I'm confused. There was no reds in that game last night. Crosby Red, you've got me confused. I think Henderson and Milner together cancelled each other out, said Stephen Richards. A lot of people have been saying that, Stephen, for a long time actually as well, not just over recent weeks. And I've always understood it, but I've always kind of given them the benefit of the doubt and hoped for more. I think Henderson and Milner together cancelled each other out. My team versus Everton. We'll get to that later on, Scotty. I think Klopp can sometimes be stubborn with his team choices, and with people like Shaqiri, Fabinho still doesn't pick for the first 11. Yes, stubbornness is certainly something I would say Jurgen Klopp has. I'd say that's a feature of his, but you know, it's probably a feature of a lot of top level managers. None more so than Wenger, actually. He was one stubborn son of a bitch, with all due respect, because he was a magnificent manager. We need Milner against Everton, said Crosby Red. What midfield three would you put in for this game against Everton? Now, there's two ways of looking at this. We can look at this game that it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a war of attrition. It's going to be 100 miles an hour. Tempers are going to be frayed. Tempers are going to be high. The crowd are going to be at our backs. Or you can look at it as another game of football, and one that we want to go and outclass Everton. Because work rate should be a minimum. Whoever we put in the midfield, work rate should be a minimum. So for me, I understand the want for James Milner in there. He's got experience. He's got nous. But again, if Everton sit deep, I don't want us lacking creativity. We didn't have a single shot on target outside of the penalty against a 40-year-old goalkeeper. Not one shot on target. That's inexcusable in a game that we were 2-0 down. It's inexcusable that we didn't come back into this game and have one fucking shot on target. That's just not good enough. Naby's injury set him back a month or so. He'll be up to speed by Christmas. We should change the formation to 4-2-1-3, said Tom Jones. 4-2-1-3, 4-2-3-1. 4-2-1-3 isn't much of a change of formation, Tom, to be honest, mate. It's pretty much what we're at, except we don't have that one at the minute. If we have Shaqiri, he sometimes comes in from the right. But a 4-2-1-3 would be what I would have expected us to have if we had an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, a Fekir, or somebody of that ilk to play in behind the front three. Midfield of Henderson, Gini and Milner isn't good enough on their own, but great together, but they lack creativity, said Harry. And you know, it's tough because none of us here, I can see it in your posts, none of us want to be criticising Henderson, Milner, Gini, because we like them. We can see that they're good, honest pros. They work hard. But sometimes hard work just isn't enough. Sometimes you need that bit of magic, that bit of guile, that sprinkling of pixie dust, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That Shaqiri moment, Coutinho had many of them, which is why we wanted Fekir. And we can't pull Klopp up on this one because it was clear that Klopp wanted that player. Klopp was willing to roll 50 or 60 million quid on that player. He knows we need him. January is going to tell us a lot. We'll see what the situation is. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in January, guys. I'm hoping, like the rest of you, that we can bring somebody in. But even if we do, it's asking a lot of that person to come in and hit the ground running, particularly if they haven't had Premier League experience. We can't ignore the fact that two new lads in midfield haven't had an impact. It's definitely time, said Brian. Well, look, whatever about Naby. Naby has been a bit hit and miss, but he's had injuries. But Fabinho just hasn't had a sniff. It's really hard to make a decision or make a judgment on somebody we haven't really seen playing. I've literally already forgot the score. Was it 3 or 2-1? 2-1, mate. It was fucking 2-1. Ferry FC 2, Liverpool FC 1. Why Shaqiri want to come off the bench against Paris Saint-Germain in Champions League last night? Why Shaqiri want to come off a bench? Stephen, mate, you've lost me with the comment, buddy. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Yeah, sorry, buddy. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, so I can't really come back to you because I'm not sure of what context you mean. A Fabinho cross, VVD header, Liverpool goal to win. Hi Craig, how are you? Said Ben. I'm tickety boo. Thank you, Ben. Tickety boo. Still furious about last night. Yeah, but look, I'll get on to that now. Sure. While we're in here, let's talk about. Hang on. Why was his message deleted? What's he saying? Why? This is nonsense. Why did you time that guy out? He said, "Take a deep breath, baldy boy." This is the mods are going to be trigger happy here, guys. Like he said, "Take a deep breath, baldy boy." I wouldn't call that offensive. It's banter. People are okay to come in here and say stuff like that. Can we stop? People are too trigger happy. Unless people call one of you a cunt, come in slag Klopp, call us pricks, nonsense, leave their comments please, guys. Too many people are too trigger happy. When I say front four, I mean Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or... What's this? I don't know what you mean. Type willing to run and shoot, getting shots off when we're struggling. Oxlade-Chamberlain can defo bring a lot to that team. We miss him badly, we really do. Defend them breasts, Craig. Damn right. Damn fucking right. I worked hard to get ownership to an extent of those, my friend. Craig, your reaction to the penalty last night was a thing of beauty, said Sam. Somebody commented under the stream post last night and they didn't say a fucking thing. They just wrote 1 hour, 10 minutes, 10 seconds. That was it. So of course, me being the curious person that I am, I scrolled straight to that and it was the penalty incident. Gark the voyeur, what is he doing? LFC Spurs watch-alongs. Mate, it's fucking embarrassing. Honest to God. He's a Manchester United fan. Like, he's not like True Geordie, who did this all the time. Like, he's known for talking about different sports, different games of football. Gark is known for one thing and one thing only, and that's for being an idiot Manchester United fan. So, for him to start with that watch-along last night, it's fucking cringeworthy. What type of self-respecting United fan would cover a Liverpool game? It's just wrong. Wrong on so many levels. A bit of an update, guys. I told you before that I'd received an email recently asking me would I do some work over in the UK for... It was a betting company who were filming a TV series about opposition fans and stuff. I received an email today actually asked me could I go over next Tuesday and film in London, which I had to turn down because it was too short notice. But I did say to them I'm available after Christmas, so fingers crossed I'll be able to go, give the channel a bit of a big up and hopefully film some stuff, and yeah, maybe we can grow this Anfield Agenda family. But it was an absolute pleasure to receive the email. I mean, it makes all the criticism that I've had from idiots on Twitter and from opposition podcasts mainly who are just hiding behind false accounts. For people on Twitter who just called me a nonsense idiot, who said I'm a boring monotone cunt, who said my voice puts them to sleep, who said nobody gives a fuck what I have to say, all this type of stuff I've listened to for years, and then you receive an email like that from somebody who's watched the channel, from somebody who wants to bring you over and get you involved in film and stuff for fan content in a proper studios in London. It really was a privilege to get that message. It was tough to say no. But family has to come first, and it was too short notice and I couldn't get Lucas looked after with my wife, so I had to turn it down. But I did say I'm available after Christmas, so hopefully we hear back from them and we can raise the Anfield Agenda profile and get some more Reds into our beautiful little family. But to all those people that have slagged me off and doubted me, fuck you. Fuck each and every one of you, and you know who you are. I'm not going to give you the time of day by pulling out your names. You know who you are. You know the false accounts that you hide behind. Craig 1, you cunts 0. That's all I'm going to say. The league won't be easy to win, especially with Manchester City being the obvious favourites. Maybe, but that guy has form. Oh, your man who came in? Just leave him. I mean, it's me that he's going to be slagging off, guys, so I wouldn't worry about it. That doesn't mean Manchester City won't slip up. They're going to slip up. They are going to slip up. The only thing that will matter is if they slip up, are we close enough to capitalise? And we have to make sure that we are. God, guys, it's so tough to have this conversation. We're doing so fucking well. and yet we're still not at the top of the table because Manchester City are just a phenomenal squad. Midfield needs changing. Give Naby a chance, said Will. I agree, mate. I'm crying out to see Naby get a chance in that midfield. If we did drop down to the Europa League, think we should have 6 or 7 young players and rest first team players. I'm with you, Christopher. I'm absolutely with you on that one, sir. I'd have Keita, Milner and Fabinho, said Codlover. I'd probably rather switch Milner for Genie. But I get where you're coming from, and you've changed 2 of the 3 there, so completely understand your way of thinking. Shaqiri, Keita, Fabinho, because I want to see them. King K said we need to give a rest to Genie. He's played too much, and the front 3 need a rest. Give Sturridge a chance. Midfield 3 of Keita, Milner, and Fabinho. So you're thinking very similarly to Christopher. So great minds think alike and all that stuff. Naby, Milner, Genie for Anthony. Andre said our midfield needs to be Naby, Firmino and Shaqiri against Burnley on the 5th of December. Oh God almighty. If we did, I don't even want to think about that fucking Burnley game. Oh, Burnley. It's just, is there a more boring fixture in the season than fucking Burnley? Against Everton, Fabinho, Shaqiri and Naby, said Stephen. Cameron's gone for Fabinho, Milner and Keita. Seems everybody wants Keita and Fabinho by the looks of things. Yeah, everyone I've seen so far wants the 2 boys in midfield anyway to get a chance. Paul said, I was choked up the other day when I heard Sean Cox's wife speaking about her husband. What a shit house the animal is to do that. Hope he gets back to good health. Paul, I can't even imagine what that poor lady and that family must be going through. Their life's changed in an instant, pal, over some scumbag who was there purely to cause trouble. I can understand why you'd be choked up, buddy. It's not a great situation at all. And as you said, fingers crossed someday Sean gets back to full health or as close to it as he can. Gareth Phillips said Liverpool have played midweek and therefore they're there for the taking by the next team who plays them. I'm going 3-1 Everton. Okay, Gareth, best of luck with that one, buddy. So we haven't lost all season. We haven't lost at home in 18 months, and Gareth, I know you're an Everton fan, buddy, but you guys aren't going to be the team to do it. I'm very confident of that one. Stevie Richards is going 4-2-3-1 with Mo in the number 10 position. Interesting. I don't know if that'll waste his speed or not, but Mo in the 10. I don't think I've ever really thought that one through. I've thought about Mane perhaps dropping into the 10, but I've never thought about Mo in the 10. We were brought up well, Craig. Taught to respect our elders. That's why we'd no shots at the keeper. I love your way of thinking, Tom. Well in. Jamie Carragher said the Paris Saint-Germain players should be embarrassed to see their families after yesterday. Oh, mate, I've been trying to hold off on my anger about this situation. Right, so you brought it up. Let's address the performance, shall we say, of those Paris Saint-Germain players yesterday. Look. First and foremost, I want to talk about this from the point of view of kids watching that game yesterday from around the world, tuning in to see Cavani, Salah, Neymar, Mbappe, Firmino, Mane, all the top players in Europe, or a good bunch of the top players in Europe. And what they got to see yesterday was Paris Saint-Germain players rolling around the ground, inventing fouls, crying, killing time. And look, I'm okay with killing time. I understand people trying to see out games. I get the professionalism side of things. But there's a line where it goes too far. And the referee allowed that to happen. So the referee is as much culpable for that game yesterday and the performance of those Paris Saint-Germain players as the players themselves. The referee had a chance to stamp that out. Referee issued 6 yellow cards to Liverpool yesterday, 2 to Paris Saint-Germain, and one of them should have been a red card for Verratti. He also refused to give a penalty at first for what was one of the most obvious decisions you'll see all season. He gave nothing to Liverpool for the entire game when it was a 50-50. Absolutely fucking nothing. He booked a Liverpool player for pulling back a jersey of a PSG player 5 minutes after allowing a PSG player away with doing it to a Liverpool player with just a free kick. Very same scenario. The referee was a disgrace. Let's get that out of the way. He was an absolute fucking disgrace. His decisions, I can't say affected the result because PSG scored the 2 goals absolutely within the laws. No issues there. 2 goals, well done to them. Liverpool scored theirs through a penalty. So park that to the side. I'm not complaining about the goals or anything like that. PSG got them fairly, no worries. But to be rolling around the ground the way they were. Like, Neymar's the world's most expensive footballer. The pin-up boy of Nike. Sells more shirts, I think, around the world than anyone else for Nike. And if Nike are looking on there yesterday, is this what they want? Is this what they want to be seeing? Is this where they plough all those millions of quids into to see this poodle-headed fucker rolling around the ground? He's capable of magic. There's no doubt about that. He's capable of absolute magic. His attitude fucking stinks. And it wasn't just him yesterday. It wasn't just him rolling around the ground. I'd like to say it was just him, but it wasn't. There was more of the PSG players as well. So that was disgraceful. It was horrible to watch. Horrible. And for BTEC Klopp, i.e. Tuchel, to come out and say that Jurgen Klopp's thoughts on it were just basically because he lost. Fuck him, basically. Jurgen Klopp is one of the fairest assessors of a game you're ever going to see. How many times has he said, forget about this, don't worry about that, let things go? What happened there yesterday, outside of the goals? Nobody's trying to deny PSG the victory. Don't take me up that way. PSG won. We didn't deserve jack shit out of that game yesterday. We were awful. But the antics, come on, the antics were not what we want to see in this game. If we were watching that game as neutrals, Liverpool completely parked up. Unless they were playing United or somebody who we'd, let's be honest, we'd all go, fuck you, United. But if they were playing that game against Barcelona and we're watching that, or they were playing that game against Roma and we're sitting here watching that, we're going to be disgusted. Tell the truth. We're all going to look at that and we're going to die a little inside from the antics of those players. That's not why I fell in love with the game. That's not why any of you fell in love with the game. Magical moments, fantastic crowds, individual brilliance. They're all reasons we fell in love with the game. I sickened when I see antics like that. These are men out there on a football field. And I'm sure that women who play the game as well would have been equally fucking disgusted to see the way these lads carried on. These are men who are covered in tattoos, a lot of them from head to toe. But yeah, the slightest brush off them when they're holding their face and they're rolling around the ground like they've been shot dead. If my son or my daughter was watching me do that on the field, I don't think I'd be able to look them in the eye when I get off the field. It's shocking. It's absolutely fucking despicable. What type of a human being acts that way? It's gone beyond feigning to try and win a penalty or trying to get a player booked. It's literally blatant cheating. It's an embarrassment to PSG. It shows what a shambles of a club Paris Saint-Germain are, from top to bottom. The ownership's a joke. The fans, look, I don't know enough about the fans to criticise them, so I won't. The players are a joke. They're never going to win the Champions League. They're in a Farmers League. Whatever you want to say about French football, the league's a joke. Nobody can compete with Paris Saint-Germain. A couple of times when they do, Monaco do, and then they sell all their players. And then Monaco falls straight back down the table. It's an absolute joke. Let's be honest about this. PSG they beat us, fair enough. They'll top the group, well done. They're not going to win the fucking Champions League. Not this year, not next year, not the following year. They're never going to do it. Same way they haven't done it up to now, they're never going to do it. Their manager isn't good enough. Their players aren't good enough. You have Mbappe, great. Neymar, fair enough. Cavani, he's alright. Midfield, Verratti. Thiago Silva, an aging centre-back who's still playing very good levels. But you put that up against some of the other sides in Europe, they're going to get fucking slaughtered. So fuck PSG. Fuck their antics yesterday. I hope we never have to play them cunts again. And if we do, I hope we absolutely give them something to whinge about. Because it was absolutely fucking horrible to watch. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. We were brought up well, Craig. Done that one. Jamie Carragher said the PSG player should be embarrassed. Thomas Tuchel should be embarrassed with his fucking comments, to be fair. He said it was sour grapes by Klopp. A man who he's only beaten twice in 14 attempts. Ancelotti, we'll get to Ancelotti, Paul. Don't you worry about that, mate. I have him penciled in for later on. Brian said, I think he'll go Milner and Genie in a 2 with Salah, Bobby, Mane, Shaqiri up top. Makes sense, but I'd rather we got rid of one of those two. And I get where you're coming from, Brian. But I'd rather we drop Keita in there and got rid of one of the Genie or Milner. Dirty Girl said she's still angry. I don't blame you, pal. I'm fucking furious myself. Not just with the antics, I'm furious with the level of performance from Liverpool, because it just wasn't acceptable. To lose 4 games away in Europe in a row is just, it's just dog shit, let's be honest. Craig, you sound Pat and Mick tonight. Dose yourself up. Oh, sick. I'm fucking dying, mate. I told you. I've got a virus. I'm not well for the last few days. I'm full of painkillers though, said Brian. There you go. Lucas had to go to the doctors yesterday, actually. He's got tonsillitis. He's got a big lump on the side of his throat, God bless him. Not stopping him though. He is flying around the house. Not a bother out of him. But first time he's ever had tonsillitis, so he has to take some antibiotics, as does my daughter. So there's clearly something going around my house. I have a virus though, so antibiotics, no point in taking them. Paracetamol, no point in taking it, because it's a virus and it'll go away on its own. I just have to battle on through it. But God, when your kids are sick, man, I feel I'm useless when the kids are sick. I just fall to shit. New names: Real Madrid. Ramos is Real Madrid. I don't know what that means. Tuchel to the easy route and went to the cash cow PSG. Let's be honest. Let's be blunt, Cameron. Tuchel lost that game last night. He's getting sacked at the end of the year, one way or the other. Because to get knocked out of the group stage of the Champions League, his job is to come in there and win the fucking competition. That is his only job. Winning the league is a gimme. It's an absolute gimme to PSG. His job is for one thing and one thing only, and that's to win the Champions League, which he will fail to do, and he will be gone very soon. Because he's a shite manager. He's completely overrated. How he got that job, I have no fucking idea. With the options, the availability of managers that they could have went for, Thomas Tuchel was just stupidity of the highest order. Far Isle said, I'm beginning to feel as though football is rigged to a degree, like boxing is almost entirely. Or look, don't even talk to me about boxing, mate. Anything that goes to the judges these days, I'm fucking cringing of. Particularly, it depends on whoever. If it goes to the judges, usually whoever's promoting the fight, their fighter's winning. It's sickening, as you've said. Clubs on boards, leaders of states owning teams, are losing my faith in it all. You can't lose the faith though, buddy. That's the thing. We can't lose the faith in the sport we love. In other words, these fuckers have won. We've got to find a way of fighting back in the long term. People have to find a way of making their voices heard and letting FIFA, UEFA, the authorities know that we won't put up with this shit. Like, it's, yeah, you're right. And this isn't just a little dig at PSG and Man City, by the way. This has gone much deeper here. I'm talking about UEFA and FIFA being corrupt as fuck. Regardless of two clubs just spending too much money. They're just two clubs. FIFA and UEFA goes, like, we're talking the whole game all around the world here. Much further than two clubs. To me, it was completely clear that Qatar was going to have PSG somewhere in the latter stages by hook or by crook. They bought that ref last night. Nothing was stopping them. But the ref was a shambles. A shambles. The sad thing is as well that UEFA won't look at that performance with that referee last night and be critical of it. They won't come out and say that there was anything wrong. Of course they won't. Because they got the result they all wanted. Low Fat said, I think Liverpool's biggest robbery was Champions League versus Madrid. You was defo skanked, said Low Fat. I seen that Manchester City logo, buddy, come up in the chat, and I was waiting to get down to the comment just to see what you had to say. That was, it was nuts. It Low Fat, mate. It was strange, that whole game. What happened with Ramos and Salah was weird. Then you see what Salah did to the goal, or what Ramos did to the keeper. It's mad, but it all happens so quickly that unless you see things immediately, stuff can just go by and he can get away. He's the master of that shit, honest to God. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It was strange. It was one of the weirdest, most anticlimactical finals I think I've ever seen. The first thing I saw last night on YouTube was best skills made by Neymar Jr. I commented on one and said it should be called best dive. Look, you know my thoughts on Neymar. I'm not going to go off on another rant. Let's go Red Star Belgrade, make history, said Tom. Again, just like somebody said a couple of moments ago, Paris Saint-Germain are going to win that game in Belgrade by hook or by crook. They're going to win that game. Be sure about that one. I hope Red Star beat PSG again. be sure they're going to win the game. As somebody said, by hook or by fucking crook, they will find a way of making sure that Paris Saint-Germain gets that win. Olympiacos version 2 incoming, said LFC_5. We shouldn't be deleting comments straight away. Wait and see where they go, said Christopher, which I agree with, mate. I fully agree with that. Why was I timed out? Who timed out Tippy? I didn't see you being timed out there, pal. Sorry. I see you deleted his comment for a while. Mr. David M. Play said, your channel's a joke, mate. Whatever about the channel, if it's not your thing, happy days, but you can't spell for fuck, pal. Rather than coming on trying to troll, go get yourself an education, pal. Honestly, all kinds are wrong there. 2 words, Leonardo DiCaprio. Did you see the false post going around on Twitter today about Leonardo DiCaprio? I had to check his account to see if it was real. It's a shame it wasn't, but I wish it was. I really do. Sanchez suffers a hamstring in training. That's a coincidence, said Anthony Peters. The guy that said our channel's a joke as well. It's just such a shame that thousands of people differ with your opinion, pal, isn't it? Thousands of them. 25,000 people watching yesterday. 25,000 people watching on Saturday. Joke's on you, dickhead. Team for Sunday. Anthony's going for Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robbo, Naby, Milner, Gini, Shaqiri, Mo, Mane. A lot of people as well. A lot of people going for similar teams. Except in this one you've gone for, similar to Brian, you've gone for Milner and Gini to play with Naby. I'd be interested to know though, in that role, who are you having in the 6? Who are you having playing the deeper role in that? Or are we going with a 2 and pushing Naby a little bit further up? The amount of abuse from every fan last night was sickening. It was a bad performance, but PSG are a good team. They're not really, Tony. With all due respect, mate, they're a good team, but they're not a great team. We should be beating Paris Saint-Germain. I would go as far as to say, if both those teams are at their best, we beat them. That's how confident I am. That's why I was disappointed last night. They didn't put in a particularly good performance. They got the job done. They got the result they needed to get. That can't be taken away from them. But you can't look at that game last night and say to yourself, Jesus, we were blown off that pitch. Neither team played well. So I'm not having a dig at PSG. We were shite last night as well. PSG are good when people let them be good. When people go and put it up them like we did at Anfield, get in their face, they fall apart. That's what we should have done. I don't know if it was a bottle thing last night. I don't know what it was. But Liverpool did not go out there and put up a performance that isn't anyway respectable. Everton are going to get a spanking at Alpha G. We got Everton this week. That game, 4 o'clock on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to this one. I mean, if there's a game you want to get stuck into to get over that shambles, this is it. The Anfield Lark said, when I was a kid, they twice diagnosed me with tonsillitis, but the third time round it turned out to be a glandular fever. Just to let you know in case the docs get it wrong. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you looking out for the young man. He hasn't got a fever. And I'm not even going to pretend to know about glandular fever because I've never had it. I had my tonsils out actually when I was a kid myself. But thank you. I will certainly have a look. He seems to be feeling better, which is great. And he didn't really suffer too much. He wasn't complaining or anything like that. The only reason we noticed anything was because it was blatantly obvious. He had a golf ball where his gland should be. It was almost comical. It was so big. But thank you, mate, for that. I appreciate your help. Our forwards need to fire them goals, said Shabir. Pal, I'm with you. Rod said, horrible, horrible, horrible. Yes, it was shit, but at least I didn't watch it live. This might become a new Champions League strategy of mine this season. Sad to see the gaffer upset. Did anybody see the interview Kloppo did with, was it Norwegian? Was it Norwegian television or something like that? He was a little bit more angered than when we seen him with BT. And you can understand why. Low Fat said I'd come in peace. Pal, you're welcome. You're very welcome in here. Whatever about banter, mate, you've been respectful. Put your comments in. Love to know your thoughts on the season. Love to know your thoughts on us. And of course, we're happy to answer anything about you guys. But welcome. You're always very welcome in here. Any fan is welcome in this channel, as long as they're respectful, which you certainly have been. Tony said, I'm depressed ever since I finished Power tonight. Never mind what happened. Is that a good series? Because I never watched it. I kept glossing over it and I never watched it, so maybe I'll have to break it out and give it a watch. UEFA are bent. They hate English clubs. Amen. And amen, mate. I don't know what else to say to you. The first part, absolutely. I don't really know about them hating English clubs. They're bent as fuck. Them and FIFA. Absolutely corrupt bastards in every sense of the word, and they're ruining the sport. The sport that they have in their hands. Like, they're caretakers of this sport, and they're fucking just taking every penny they can out of it and corrupting the sport. Excuse me. Did you see that famous actor post on Twitter about Neymar saying he's not the best actor? That wasn't true, Tony. That was a false post, buddy. I checked his account to see if it was real and I couldn't find it anywhere. Ganito said, Tuchel having a go at Klopp, that's a joke. That fool has pictures of Klopp on his wall. I wouldn't say you're too far off. He's probably defo gone full on Stan when it comes to Klopp. You know the Eminem song Stan. I'd say Tuchel's defo down in his basement. Pictures of Klopp all over the wall. Smiling Klopp with X's drawn through his eyes and stuff. Champions League was the saddest moment of my life. I went into depression for like 3 days. I wanted to kick a ball. I just sat on the ground and stared, said Jason. That's fucking deep, pal. Relax. Relax. It'll be alright. It'll be alright in the night. How mad is it that we've lost 3 games in this year's Champions League and yet we're still in with a shout of going through? I feel like we shouldn't be. I feel like we deserve to be out after losing 3 games. But the way the cards have fallen, we're in with a chance. We beat Napoli 1-0 or by 2 goals and we're there. I'm very confident we can do it. Now, on that, while we're talking about Napoli, I see a couple of you have mentioned it in the chat. Mr. Carlo Ancelotti has basically gone and made Jurgen Klopp's fucking team talk easy. I'm sure 90% of you guys have seen his comments, but Carlo Ancelotti has he has absolutely come out and said that they will not find the atmosphere at Anfield intimidating, and they'll have faced worse when they were at Atalanta. They would have come up against a more hostile environment than at Anfield. Carlo, you stupid motherfucker. What is he after doing? We've heard this before. We've seen this before. Tuchel with Dortmund, not going to be intimidated. With all due respect to our friend in the chat, Pep with Manchester City, not going to be intimidated. Many other managers have come and said they're not going to be intimidated. Di Francesco with Roma, we're not going to be intimidated. Hoffenheim, we're not going to be intimidated. What happens time and time again? Just accept that when you come to Anfield on a European night, especially when there's so much riding on it, that you're going to be in for a night of fucking hell. The Cop are going to be in full voice. The ground is going to be shaking. No matter what Carlo Ancelotti reckons he's seen before, he hasn't seen it yet. Napoli are not going to have a second to rest in that game. He's basically after winding up the entire stadium before they even set foot in the field. That won't be forgotten. He's basically after ratcheting this up a couple of notches. Napoli are going to have the worst 90 minutes they'll have ever faced in an away game in Europe. That much I can promise them. It's one thing to say you're not going to be intimidated. It's another thing to go out there on the fucking pitch and do it. Some teams have been good enough to come and do it, but this Napoli team ain't. I'm telling you that now. This Napoli team is not good enough to come to Anfield in the environment that's going to be there and leave with a draw or a qualification to the next round. It is not going to happen. Carlo Ancelotti is going to look like a fucking idiot. This is the man who was 3-0 up against us at half time in the Champions League. And they were laughing and joking in the fucking changing room. What happened then? This is the man that so many Liverpool fans wanted to manage the club ahead of Jurgen Klopp, which again I'll never understand because it was the worst fit. I have a lot of respect for Carlo Ancelotti, an excellent manager that has won so much in the game. But to say what he said is just stupidity of the highest order. Before, he should be just trying to keep his head down instead of fanning the flames. He has opened Pandora's box, and I cannot fucking wait for that night. I cannot wait to hear what Anfield have in store for Napoli, for Mr. Ancelotti, and mostly for those 11 men in red, well, 10 and the keeper, when they go out there to get the job done. It's going to be fun. I can't believe he fucking said it. Right, I want to hear your thoughts on this one, guys. So if you haven't posted in, please do, because I'm going to go through them now. Mate, Tony, this Terry gobshite from Fan Park Live that a couple of people keep mentioning. But if you all hate him so much, do you mind me asking why the fuck you watch the channel? I mean, I don't understand it. He's clearly a moron. He clearly has it in for Liverpool. But yeah, you guys keep watching it. He sounds like a cunt to me. I wouldn't waste my time watching him, particularly if he's winding you up so much. I don't even know who he is and I hate him already. I feel we deserved a second goal in the last few minutes, but that's my opinion. Don't have a shot on target, mate. You don't deserve a goal. It's pretty straightforward. We didn't work the keeper at all. Low Fat said, I only hate United, me. No qualms of any other team or fans. You know what, mate? I fucking love that you said that. Because that's who you should hate. You should absolutely fucking detest them. The same way we detest Everton. We have our own little hatred for United as well. But you're right. They're your fucking rivals. They're your city rivals. Ben's team is Alisson, Trent, Gomez, VVD, Robbo, Naby, Fabinho, Shaqiri, Salah, Sturridge and Mane. He said, yeah, Sturridge, not Firmino. Again, pal, I hear you. I'd have no problem with Danny Sturridge getting a run out. None at all. Alright, there's so many comments for me to get through here, guys. So I'm going to take a moment to read a few of them and then see how much I can get through. Jordan Peterson with Joe Rogan right now. Definitely going to be listening to that one later, Alpha G. Thank you very much. We're joined together in hating United, said Tony Kelly. Power is brilliant, said Christopher. Cool, I must give it a watch. I had large glands too, under my neck and arms and groin, above the leg. Too much information. No, mate. Honestly, thanks for sharing. Always appreciate input, so thank you. Power is top stuff. A lot of people saying Power is good, so I'll definitely have to give it a watch, guys. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Why don't Everton try rivaling Man United now they're on the same level? Said Dominic. Oh, banter par excellence, my friend. What do you say about Salah centre, Mane left on the right? I prefer Salah on the right, Mane left, and Firmino to the centre, Shabir. We're seeing Salah to the centre a lot more. So, it's not working for me, pal, at the minute. I understand you've seen Shaqiri on the right then, but then what are we going to do with Firmino? Are we dropping him deep or are you just dropping him to the bench? I just feel we lose something when we don't have Bobby Firmino in the 9 and have Salah coming in from wide. I wouldn't mind seeing Salah going out on the left for a while and giving Mane a run on the right just to change it around a bit. Anybody else hear those Andy Robertson quotes after the game with PSG about them play acting future Liverpool manager? I didn't, Brian. I didn't see them, pal. So please feel free to put them in the chat. Craig, I'd love to see Mbappe coming to Liverpool, see what number 10 can do then. Scotty, what people think Neymar is what I think Kylian Mbappe is. I think Kylian Mbappe has the world at his feet. Bit of play acting, yes. There was. I'm not going to say he wasn't at it. But overall, I think he's an exceptional footballer. A real talent. And I think he'll go further in the game than Neymar has. He already has. He won a World Cup. He's only fucking, what, 19 years of age? Do you lads think Klopp should play Keita and Fabinho more? Yes, buddy. Seems to be the consensus at the minute. I could understand them holding back on Fabinho. We've seen Klopp do that before. But something isn't right in the midfield, so you might as well roll the dice now while you have the two of them available and introduce them and see how they get on. Craig, Liverpool have won loads, winning ugly, and fuck Ancelotti. Shabir wants to see a 4-2-3-1. Craig, a message for Ancelotti. No Pirlo, no fucking party. They will shit themselves, said Tony. At least Pep admitted he was scared of Liverpool at Anfield. He showed when we played at Anfield this year. Too much respect for both. Yeah, and do you know what? I gained more fucking respect for Pep Guardiola for his openness. The way he came to Anfield this year, he came with a plan. He came to get a job done, and he more or less got the job done. He almost left with 3 points. He was a missed penalty away from leaving Anfield with 3 points this season, and they showed the height of respect for Liverpool, and they got what they came for. Although they could have even got more. Hope Ancelotti likes Copperberg, said Stephen Richards. He likes a smoke anyway, so he probably does like a can or two with a smoke. Did you see the Lukaku stat about things that haven't happened since he last scored at Old Trafford? Mbappe's won 4 trophies, 92 million babies have been born, and the entire 2018 F1 season has taken place. That's fucking brilliant, Brian. Thank you. Oh, £75 million striker, ladies and gentlemen. I laughed at the City staff saying, yeah, but only them 3, that's it. Look, I love stuff like that. I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff in football. I thought it was good that they actually allowed that to go out. Guardiola saying he was worried about them. I honestly think fair play. The American keeper not coming till the summer. Can't get a work permit in time for January, said Low Fat. Ancelotti needs to think back to Istanbul, said Anthony Peters. He's probably still a little bit bitter about that one. Remember Carlo. Remember Istanbul, Carlo, you thick cunt, said Stephen Richards. Oh, I see, mate. Good to know. Did you actually raid him? Sorry, you were talking about the goalkeeper guy there, the American fella with our friend from Manchester City. Thomas Boland says, Tuchel, tactics versus Klopp. Right, boys, roll around. There's a player close to you and he brushes you, fall down and roll around. They did do that, but they still had to put the ball in the net. I mean, to give PSG some fucking modicum of credit here, they scored 2 goals. They put the ball in the net twice. After that, everything you said came into fruition. He's becoming like Mourinho, said Cameron. Ancelotti is still salty about 2005. That Neymar picture in the Liverpool jersey winds me up on so many levels, said Jason Collins Mannion. The one with the Alisson shirt. That and the Bobby Firmino covering of his eye celebration. Fuck Neymar. Honest to God. Now obviously, look, Alisson and Firmino have to be respectful towards their compatriot because they play international football together. But fuck Neymar. Honestly, on so many levels, fuck you, Neymar. Do you think we should get Isco? City are after him, I heard. He's been isolated by Solari and has a big falling out with him. He could be an alternative to Fekir, both attacking mids. Mate, Isco is brilliant. Now, there'd be a reason why City would be after him as well. Would I like him at Liverpool? Absolutely. He's an outstanding footballer. I don't see it happening, but he's an outstanding player. And under a Pep or under a Klopp, I think he'd come on even more. Neymar was very annoying. Di Maria got messed up by Milner, the beast himself. We won the league, we won the cup, we've been to Europe too. We played the Toffees for a laugh and left them feeling blue. Christopher said a bit left field. Alisson, Trent, Gomez, VVD, Robbo, Fabinho, Mane, Shaqiri, Salah, Firmino and Sturridge in a 4-1-3-1-1. Fucking hell, mate, these formations are getting more and more complicated by the day. What happened to 4-4-2 back in the good old days? A couple of more things as well, guys, I've seen make you laugh. Well, we're telling jokes on here, there's a few more things, but first something serious. The John Holding statue was officially unveiled today at Anfield. So we all know who John Holding is, the founder of Liverpool Football Club. Over 120 years ago, that statue was unveiled. Well, obviously more than 120 years ago. The club was born in 1892 or founded in 1892. Statue officially unveiled today at Anfield. I mean, the statue has been around a bit, but officially unveiled today by the Lord Mayor of Liverpool, the Evertonian himself, along with, of course, Liverpool officials. So great to see that there. The man who founded the club. It's only right it should be there. So well done to everybody concerned with that one. I look forward to seeing it when I'm over. But I don't want to go on to this one yet. I want a bit more Carlo Ancelotti hate. So let's go through some more of the chat. No room for Isco at City. He's too old. Going youth at the minute. Frankie de Jong and Thiago Dante's Benfica's kid, said Low Fat with regards to Manchester City. See that young guy who Liverpool were linked with, is it Jovic? He scored again tonight for Eintracht Frankfurt. The guy who Liverpool have been linked with in a few papers actually, I think mainly in Germany. I'd start Naby on Sunday. Low Fat said that Mahrez penalty just landed in his garden. I'd love to see that you have a sense of humour about it, mate. Would you rather have Henderson or Keita? I'm a big fan, please. Saying my name would mean a lot, said Dylan. Hello, Dylan. Firstly, thank you, mate, for being on the channel. I really appreciate your support. It's a tough decision because they play in different positions, mate. Keita is more of an 8, can possibly push into a 10, where Jordan Henderson has been played is more of what I'd call a 6. But of the two of them, hands down, Naby Keita, without even a shadow, without even taking a breath, Naby Keita. And that's not because I dislike Jordan Henderson, that's because I really rate Naby Keita. I've been so excited about him joining the club ever since the deal was done with Leipzig. So again, Dylan, thank you for the support, mate, and it would absolutely be Naby Keita. Alisson is a monster between the sticks, said Shabir. He certainly is. I'm so happy to have him here. He pulled off a couple of good saves as well. I think Klopp wanted to go 4-2-3-1 this year, but the 2 is not happening. Huge problems in midfield that will have to be solved. I trust Klopp though. I think exactly the same as you, Brian. Exactly the same as you. I thought he probably thinks he had it nailed when he got the players in. And the 1 being Salah for me, I think you're probably thinking the same. And the 3 behind, and then the 2 midfields, whether that be Keita and Henderson or Fabinho and Keita or whoever the hell it might be. I absolutely think you're right with what you're saying there. PSG would have done so well if they'd been down to 10 men. No, they wouldn't. Fucking cheating bastards. But they didn't cheat for that decision. Verratti fell, but the referee choked on the call. Fairly straightforward. He lunged in, 2-footed, absolutely over the top of his ankles. Should have been a red card, but of course, it was a yellow. We know what would have happened if that had been Joe Gomez or Jordan Henderson or James Milner or fucking any Liverpool player that made that tackle. 1, you'd probably have seen the 11 PSG players fall down on the ground in unison, rolling around. But there would have, without a shadow of a doubt, been a red card. Without a shadow of a doubt. I love Isco, he's so underrated, said Jason. Don't laugh, but James Maddison could be the answer with a Klopp coaching. We missed the boat with him, buddy. We looked at him. He was certainly somebody who was linked with the club. He picked up an injury at the end of last season, and I think that that could be one of the reasons why we stopped pushing ahead with it. That's just guesswork though. I've no proof of that, but we were certainly looking at him, and he looks like a damn good footballer. So I wouldn't laugh at you at all. I think Maddison looks like a very, very good footballer who's going to go on and have a good career in the Premier League. Would you play Ox when he gets back from injury? Yes, as long as he proves himself fit, Dylan, but again, it's going to take a lot for him to come back from that injury, and I would write off this season completely for him with regards to any type of form. If he comes back this season, I'd just like to see him get minutes in his legs. I wouldn't be judging him whatsoever. I'd like to see him then get a full pre-season and come back next year. Maddison has potential, said Low Fat, which I fully agree with. Apparently we're linked with Asensio. That's been doing the rounds for a while. Just ask yourselves this: when's the last time Liverpool bought a player from Real Madrid? Now, I'm not talking about getting these bullshit players in on frees or getting players in as part of the Michael Owen deal or anything like that. Like, I'm trying to remember, when is the last time we went to Real Madrid and bought a player? I can't remember. I'm genuinely asking a question here. This isn't a rhetorical question. I can't remember. Where is the statue? Said Jason. Do you know about? I haven't read up. I don't know. I couldn't tell you where it is. I haven't read the entire article. I just skimmed through it before I came on. You know you are getting beaten by Naples. Maybe Salah can have a shave because Fellaini banging them in. One season wonder. Where's me jumper? Firstly, you're obviously a fucking moron, mate. You were in yesterday and you weren't this much of a dickhead. Naples aren't going to give us a beating. That's just not going to happen. To compare Salah to Fellaini is hilarious on so many levels. So many levels, actually. It's ridiculous. I mean, you've just showed your complete ignorance with your comment there. Again, that's shit banter, mate. Absolutely shit. Player that scored 45 goals, 7 already this season. One of the best players in the world, and you're calling him a one-season wonder. You do know that when he was at Roma, he was doing numbers as well, setting up Dzeko and scoring goals. The column of one season wonder just shows how ignorant you are and how stupid you are and how little you know about the game. So go back to your jumpers, pal. Maybe just knock one out or something, but mostly try and learn something about the game. I gave you a chance yesterday, but today you've bored me. So where's me jumper? Adios. What else have we got? It's not salad, I know. I mean, can't even write a fucking... Again, more trolling from idiots that can't spell. I don't know what it is about them, why they can't spell. Is there a special club or something? Or do you have to be thick to be a troll? I don't know. I've seen some excellent trolls, by the way. I mean, I've seen some trolling that I've nearly stood up and applauded on other streams. It's been so good. And I appreciate a fucking good troll. Do you think we will go through in the Champions League? I really do, Dylan. I'm not just being arrogant. I really do think we will. I don't think we deserve to. I'm baffled that after losing 3 games we have a chance to go through. But seems to be the Liverpool way to not do things easily. And I think on the night with the crowd behind us, we'll get there. One way or another, I think we'll get there. Shabir said, Craig, I'm from South Africa and I love your channel. Thank you, Shabir. Great to have you in. And again, thank you for the compliment. But most importantly, thank you for the sub. And thank you for continuously posting into the chat and making yourself known in the channel, mate. Because it's great to get to know people. So thank you for that. Crosby Red, I'm just messing. Ignore him, Christopher. Oh, sorry, I didn't read what you were saying. So, as our Nightbot there has said, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you're watching for the first time, please do hit that subscribe button. Channel's grown really quickly. We've picked up 250 subs over the past week, heading towards that magical 5,000 subscriber number now. Or a couple of hundred away, 280, something like that. Our goal was to get 5,000 subscribers by Christmas. Amazing, or not by Christmas, by the end of the season, excuse me. Amazingly, we may just get there by Christmas. So thank you to everybody that's subscribed. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is a family. It's a community channel. You see the same beautiful people in here night after night. So thank you to every single one of you for your time. It means the world to me and Connor. Your commentary of last night's game was passionate and I loved it, said James Brown. Thank you, mate. It's a little bit embarrassing when I watch it back. I'm not going to lie. It was, if I was an opposition fan and I was watching that, I would say, this lad's a fucking gobshite. I've got to be honest. Every time somebody comes on and calls me an idiot from an opposition fan, I understand where they're coming from. If I was watching this about a United fan, or an Everton fan, or a City fan, I would be saying that lad's a fucking gobshite. But it's just me. It is who I am, and I'll take all the abuse that comes my way, but I'll never change because I'm passionate. I love the club, I love the game. I hate fucking referees with a passion. But thank you, I think. But I watched it back and I had my hands in my head. Particularly the penalty incident. Craig, the Boca River Plate games to be played at the Real Madrid Stadium on the 9th of December. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. No messing about there. Moving it all the way to another continent to play the game. Do you know what? I'd say they'll get a full house. I'd say they'll get a lot of people gone over for that game. A lot of people from Europe as well. Because they're two massive names in the world of football. Boca Juniors and River Plate. Second leg final of the... Is it the Copa Sudamerica or... Which one is this? Oh no, it's the Copa Libertadores, isn't it? Sorry. The second leg of the final. 2-2 after the first leg. I'd say they're going to get a massive crowd. Especially would have been in Madrid. I'd say you'd have a lot of people there with backgrounds or South American ancestry. So yeah, it's probably a good choice. What's Oxlade-Chamberlain's injury? ACL, pal, unfortunately. It's and a really bad ACL. Craig getting his banning fix on, said Tom. I put up with him yesterday, Tom. That wasn't just from that comment. He was in yesterday during the watch along and he was giving the same type of stuff, but I gave him a bit of leeway then. Craig, I'm from Scotland but been a Liverpool fan my entire life, said James. Do you know what? There's been some fucking fantastic Scots, pal, that played for Liverpool over the years and managed Liverpool over the years. There's a great connection between both Scotland and Liverpool and Ireland and Liverpool, so great to hear there's another jock. And excuse me, don't take that as an insult, I mean that as a compliment. Supporting our fantastic club. Brian said, I can't think of any player we've bought from Real Madrid who wasn't included in the deal. I'm the same. I couldn't think of a single one. Is your other channel going already? Oh no, Shabir, it isn't. The thing about that Crack On podcast is that's going to take months and months, because it's going to be our attempt at a professional podcast. It's going to have nothing to do with this. It's going to have nothing to do with football. It's just a project that myself and Connor are working on in the background. But we're probably going to be February or March by the time that gets launched properly. Kevla is in. How are you, sir? Evening, Craig. Gonna catch up once you're offline. Good evening, all. Kev watches us sometimes when he's in work to get through the night, which is, I love knowing that. So great to have you with us, Kev. Potentially Morientes could have been our last big signing from Real Madrid. There you go. He's nailed it. Morientes. Nunes came in, but wasn't he part of a deal? Or else we got him for like 2 million. It was either a shitty deal that was for really tiny money. Morientes, was he a free? Did we get Morientes on a free after his contract was up? I can't remember. I was so disappointed that it didn't work out for him though, because I love Fernando Morientes. Absolutely loved him as a player. I wish he had done a bit better at Liverpool, but he just didn't fit into the league. Henderson should leave the club. Fabinho, way better midfielder, to be honest. Just my opinion, he's shy. It's your opinion, Dylan. I disagree. I don't think he's the greatest midfielder in the world. But we don't know about Fabinho either, so it's a big call to make that. But look, it's your opinion, and you're fully entitled to it. Score prediction for Everton versus Liverpool, asked Dylan. 3-0. 3-0, Dylan. I think we'll beat them quite easily. Yeah, I think 3-0. Scotty said, I'm a Scot and I'm a red till I die. Mick Jagger said that he didn't like that result last night and he couldn't get no satisfaction. And none of them had the fucking moves like Jagger. None of them, even though they were falling around and stretching their legs and jumping all over the place. Nunes came as part of the own deal, which I thought myself. I couldn't remember which one it was that came in. There was another one. Did we not get two as part of the own deal? Was there not Antonio Nunes and some other fucker as well? We got Sahin on loan from Real Madrid. Yeah, but the Morientes one, mate, that was a good show. I would have completely forgotten about that deal. Hendo plays with his heart on his sleeve, said Stephen Richards. And that much I will say about Jordan Henderson. He doesn't leave that out there. He might come up short, but he doesn't. He doesn't leave that out there. He does play with his heart on his sleeve. My prediction for the derby is Liverpool 2, Everton 1, said Louis. You should have an FPL channel. Oh, it's too much work, Shabir, honestly. And people can do it so much better than me when it comes to Fantasy Premier League. I'm shit at it for a start. But there's so many good channels out there and so many good accounts doing FPL stuff, so I wouldn't be able to compete. I'd be nowhere near their level. Nunes was part of the own deal, but we officially signed him for 2.5 million, if I remember right. Hosami, there you go, ASM Power. You're on fire, my friend. Absolutely on fire. Hosami, what a player. What a player with his curly little wavy hair. Nunes was so bad though. He really was. Oh, you wonder how the fuck he ever got into Real Madrid's squad. How they ever purchased him or came up to the youth ranks. He was terrible. The Napoli game will be a classic. I'm going to call it the Battle of Anfield, said LFC_5. I'm going to call it Ancelotti gets fucked. That's what I'm calling it. Did we get Henderson from Madrid, said Jason. We could have, mate. I may have forgotten that one. City got Watford away on Tuesday. Who Liverpool got midweek? I know the Rags have got Arsenal at the Swamp, but not seen who you have. Burnley, isn't it? Are we away at Burnley? Is that the next fixture? Let me check it while we're online here. I tend to look one game at a time ahead, mate, so bear with me. I'll go through the fixtures. No, Crystal Palace on the 1st. Everton. Who's next after that? Bournemouth of Huddersfield. Yeah, Burnley. We've got Burnley away. Same night. No, actually, we're the night after you. Sorry, we've got Burnley away, pal, the night after you play Watford. Watford should be an interesting game. I mean, we went there and got the win. I'm sure you lads can as well, but it can be a tough place to go if the crowd are up for it, particularly under the lights. Who remembers Osama Saidi? Oh, definitely. Another one of Brendan Rodgers' magnificent signings. I'd say he thought it was a wind-up when he got the call. What, me? Liverpool? Seriously? I bet he couldn't believe his fucking luck. United fan here. Does Klopp think Fabinho and Naby need more time to adapt to his system? Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. Naby, I don't think so. I think he's just been a little bit unlucky with injury. He was starting to feel his way in. Then he picked up that injury, kept him out, set him back, as somebody said, probably a month. Fabinho is one that has us all scratching our heads because we haven't really seen that much of him. It's not unusual for Klopp to take his time to introduce players. He did it with Oxlade-Chamberlain, did it with Andy Robertson. He's doing it with Fabinho. But we need a change in midfield, so it's... I don't probably is the right answer, Lamb, mate, but we want to see him. As Liverpool fans, we want to see him get a chance. Morientes was on loan but Monaco when we signed him, so does it count? Yeah, probably not. Again, it wasn't a big money signing, so nobody can really think of anybody who we signed for a decent fee from Real Madrid. That's mad, isn't it? Craig, did you rate Jan Kronkamp? Not really, Neil Anthony. I could see that he was technically decent. He always looked very tall for me for a fullback. I watched him play a couple of times. I watched him at PSV as well. But no, he was never at our level. I could see why we rolled the dice on him, perhaps, but no, I didn't rate him. Not watching him live, nor watching him on TV, I didn't rate him. But I won't say he was... We've had worse, let's just put it that way. How did you feel about the fail of Fekir coming to Liverpool? It was heartbreaking, pal. It really was. So many of us were so happy with that signing. It was the player that made sense to all of us. Whatever about his knee injuries, people can have their doubts about that, but there was not a single person that I spoke to that had any doubt whatsoever about the guy's ability or that he'd fit into the system. So yeah, it was tough to take Dylan when he didn't sign. And I know a lot of people are still holding out hope that we'll get him, whether it be January or further down the line. I don't know. I just feel that for whatever reason it fell apart in the summer. I can't see it happening, but I hope I'm wrong. Only ever been to Anfield once in 2014. Liverpool beat Sunderland 2-1. Do you want to know the really scary thing, James? What's really fucked up about that? That's the one and only game I've ever brought my daughter over to as well. That game you're talking about when Liverpool won 2-1. So yeah, a bit freaky there. We do play on Wednesday, Scotty. We play Burnley away, pal. Or is that next weekend? What date is it today? No, Wednesday's the 5th, is it? What date is it today? Today is the... Okay, hang on, 1 second. On the 2nd. Yeah, we do, we definitely do. We're playing on the 5th, which is Wednesday, against Burnley. Stevie G scored a banger of a free kick. What can I say, bud? I eat, sleep and live Liverpool. Pal, you are a font of knowledge, buddy. Really, really impressive stuff. If I'm ever on Who Wants to Be a Fucking Millionaire or on a quiz and I've got a call, pal, I'm looking for you. I think Hendo held his emotions back last night following his sending off the weekend. I think his subdued his performance. I wanted to see him let a little bit out as well. You could see that he went for the professional answer last night when he came off and he was interviewed, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. I would have liked to have seen him say something. The gaffer did, but it's tough to be critical of him for being professional in his interview. It's what you probably expect of a captain. Who's your favourite Liverpool player and why? Mine is Mo Salah. Bobby Firmino, Dylan, at the minute. I love Bobby Firmino. Disappointed that he isn't in the finest of form at the minute, but I love the guy. Think about this, Traore as a Champions League winners medal, said James. Do you know what? It fucking annoys me that Harry Kewell has one. Much more than him. Whatever about Traore, it just pisses me off that Harry Kewell has a Champions League winner's medal. Hendo came from Sunderland Atletico. Sunderland Atletico La Coruña. Craig, we need Reggie back for the Burnley game. He's gone, never to return, Stephen. That wasn't a loan. He's gone forever. No, Craig. Should be called Ancelotti getting fucked. Take 2. True, Tom. True. Ancelotti getting fucked. The return. Remember when Joe Allen came and Brendan Rodgers said to Welsh Xavi. Actually, was it Rodgers that said that, or did somebody else make up that name? I never knew where that came from. The Welsh Xavi. Fucking hell. Now he looks like Jesus. Did you see him getting bitten last night? Although in fairness to Joe, he said he did make that now of it. He said there was nothing to it after the match, which is nice to hear, but he was straight up in your man's face. It was hilarious. Wee little Joe Allen, the chicken lover. We spent 10 years looking for a left winger. Kewell, Nunes, Gonzalez, Riera, and the list goes on and on and on. Mark Gonzalez was a very strange one, wasn't it? He did, I don't know, it was weird between injuries and he had promise, but he just never lived up to it. Riera was okay. He had his moments. Kewell, I was so disappointed with him. When he signed, I was over the moon. But we never got the Leeds United Harry Kewell. Klopp defo tells our midfielders to play safe or something. Genie barely passes the ball forward, but the Netherlands, it's different. Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough for us. Again, you've made a good point there, Ferno. It's tough for us to know what they've been told. It's tough for us to know what the instructions are. So for all we know, those midfielders could be doing exactly what Klopp's telling them to do, to an extent. So it's tough to be critical when we don't know the game plan. Good night, Stephen, mate. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. What else have we got? There was something else I wanted to mention before we finished up, actually, and there's a few more minutes to go on the stream. I noticed, I keep my eye out for the bullshit rumours, and I've seen one today that has... I thought we'd put an end to this shit. The front three have been signed down to new long-term deals. And I've seen this pop up today, and it comes from Don Ballon in Spain, and they said Real Madrid are reportedly eyeing up the transfer of Liverpool striker Roberto Firmino, valued at his club by about 71 million, or at about 71 million pound. Firstly, fuck off, and secondly, you are not getting Roberto Firmino for 71 million pound, you fucking chancers. So once again, whether that's a bullshit rumour or whether that's Real Madrid starting the process now of getting the media to start undermining Roberto Firmino and getting in Liverpool's ear, it is not happening. He will not be leaving in the summer. You will not get him for 71 million pound. Shut the fuck up. I am sick of listening to the fucking Spanish press. Find your own players, you annoying bastards. Fucking hell. So Don Ballon, shut the fuck up. Real Madrid, go fuck yourself. There's like if Liverpool won't sell you a player after the shit that Ramos put us through in that final, go and fuck yourself, you absolute bunch of cretins. Stop this fucking annoyance. They're always trying to undermine Liverpool, that Spanish media. Fuck off. Greetings from Arizona. Six Thieves, how much chair time do you endure? For my tattoos, Jesus. Fuck, I don't know, pal. It's got to be more than 40 hours. And that's without the cover-ups, because some of these are covering up other ones. I'd say between 40 and 50 hours maybe. I've got more tattoos than that, but yeah, something like that. I'm not finished. One of them, this one, that one's not finished. As you can see, I've got to get that one finished. This one is fully finished. Like, that one goes right up to there. That one's all done. But I need to get the other one finished. I go through patches though. I go through 6 months of getting loads of work done, and then I might go a year without doing that, and then I'll get some more done. But thankfully I get them done really reasonable, because a mate of mine's a tattooist, so I give him X amount of money and sit there for as long as I can. Suso has the most assists in the Italian league, doesn't he? I've no idea, Louis. I don't really keep tabs on stats in the Italian league, pal. Low Fat Ted, love this stat. Since Lukaku last scored for United, Sanchez has earned £12 million in wages and City have netted 83 goals. That is hilarious. 83 goals and 12 million. Low Fat, let me ask you something, buddy, if you don't mind. I've always been of the belief that Manchester United signed Sanchez just to stop you guys from getting him, and that they'd no fucking plan for him whatsoever. Now look, he's a good player, was a good player, so he would have improved any team, but I'm fully of the belief that that's why they went in for him. What's your thoughts on it? And I'm sure you're happy enough with Mahrez now as well, but I'd love to know your thoughts on that whole debacle with Sanchez. Liverpool's most underrated players, probably Firmino or Lovren, said James Brown. The Firmino one I wouldn't say so much from our own fans anymore. Definitely from opposition fans, I think. And Lovren is definitely underrated by many Liverpool fans, James, in my opinion anyway. Sanchez's biggest achievement for United is the piano solo at his revealing. I hate how we've a good team but one bad midfield player. We have Gerrard, Alonso, Mascherano, but not so great defence, and now we have the exact opposite. It comes in waves, doesn't it? Do you know, I'd rather have the solid defence and be certain for the midfielders though, because you can always find a way. Can always find a way to get through the midfield. I'm so happy we have a good defence. I really am. Mane is the danger man at Liverpool. That guy is a beast on the counter. He is. He can be frustrating at times as well. He can do absolutely amazing things, and then he can make silly mistakes. But I think Klopp was right when he said that the only person who doesn't know quite how good Sadio Mane is Sadio Mane, because he's an excellent player. Liverpool's next 5 fixtures: Everton at home, Burnley away, Bournemouth away, Napoli at home, and Manchester United at home. Win, 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 win. 5 wins there, Christopher. Of course I'm being biased as fuck there. Bad coaching. Imagine some of them players with a Klopp coaching. Don Ballon is not a reliable newspaper, and even the Spanish people laugh at him. Good. That's fucking great to hear. Then they can doubly fuck off. Always happens every year. Liverpool players are always linked to Spanish teams just to fill the paper headlines. PSG fans and players celebrating like they'd won the Champions League. I know. Did you see what got me last night, Louis, in that game was the fucking chest bump between Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. That for me was the cringiest thing I've seen in a game of football in a long time. My fucking god. Did you see the state of it? 2 fucking fist bumps. All we were waiting for was the ass slap and the backwards high five. Fucking cheesy bastards. Don Ballon is the private eye of the soccer world. Oh, there you go. Fuck them anyway. Fuck them. Sorry, fuck them. I should say it properly, shouldn't I? Fuck them. You don't want to meet Craig in a dark alley. Mate, I'm harmless. I'm a very kind gentleman. I don't start any rows physically. I'm a narky fuck when it comes to most things, but I don't start rows physically. I'm not that type of person. What's this one? Oh, GFFN after the game got so loud on Twitter. They were trying to say League One isn't a farmers league. Well, okay, whatever you guys say. PSG were the most amazing side in the history of football, and the French football is the French league is the epitome of excellence in European football. GFFN. Imagine being proud of that performance last night. Fucking hell, the state of them. If you're tired of me talking about Divock Origi, he's a great record against Everton, always scores against them. He's not going to be scoring this weekend, pal. Sorry to burst your bubble, but Origi won't be getting a run out this weekend. The defence being solid is the most important thing, something that can be built on. Agree with that. Okay. Sorry, just a couple more things. Right, as you can see there in the chat, guys, Nightbot has said, if you'd like to help us grow the channel, consider leaving a donation here at www.kofi.com/Anfield Agenda. That's the crowdfunding link for the thing that we set up a while ago that we told you guys about. We've had a few donations lately, which means a lot to us. Thank you. We've purchased a new ring light and we're looking to buy a camera, really, which is the most expensive item we'll have ever bought for the channel. It's very fucking expensive. So if anybody wants to help us out, we sell it in cans of Diet Chav. Our regular viewers will know what Diet Chav is. It's basically my way of saying Diet Coke. So we sell cans of Diet Chav. They're at €3 each. They're virtual cans, I should say. They're not real cans. So if anybody wants to help us out, you can do so at kofi.com/Anfield Agenda, and every penny will go towards new equipment, as we've promised. Louis said, I agree, so hyped. Neymar and Dani Alves dancing in the dressing room, acting like they reached the semi-final. I'd say Neymar probably reached the semi last night, mate. I would say he most definitely reached the semi. Craig, do you think we'll sign somebody in January? Hope, Cameron, is probably more the word I would say than think. I hope, mate. I think we need somebody. I don't know if that's quite good enough for your answer, buddy, but I would like us to. Yeah, I would like us to. City got big problems. Finally, one man gets injured. Fernandinho. Good to see him getting the credit that he probably deserves, mate. He's an excellent holding midfielder. PSG for the next summer's Olympics diving team. Cheating bastards at AS Empire. If somebody scores against Napoli, Klopp should play Fabinho, Lovren, Gomez, VVD, Robbo as a back five and just blast the ball to the other side of the field. Shithouse our way through to the next round. I'd much rather go and whack them 4 or 5-0, mate, and just piss all over them. And just send Ancelotti and his 40 fucking Benson and Hedges back to Naples with his tail between his legs and a big fuck you from Anfield. That would do me rather nicely. Night chaps, nice meeting you all, Craig. Top man channel, keep it up. Thank you, low fat mate. Always a pleasure to chat to you, and it's so good to have an opposition fan in who is, you know, friendly and just wants to chat football. So come back anytime, buddy. I would say best of luck for the rest of the season, but you know we wouldn't really mean it. But nice chatting to you, it really was. Neymar fucks his own sister, said Ferdo. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. That's a smile right there. And again, a lot of people are just saying goodnight to Lofa, which is good to see. Right, guys, is there anything else before we finish up? Any more comments, suggestions, thoughts on last night, anything like that? I think I'm pretty much done. So unless you guys have anything to say, we'll leave it there for tonight. What day is it? Tomorrow Friday, so the Reds back in action at the weekend. It's going to come on us really soon. Thank you again for coming and joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure to chat to you all. Thank you to the opposition fans, to Low Fat and our Manchester United fan who came in to say hi as well. Thank you to anybody who subscribed recently and to the new people who have come into the chat for the first time. Really appreciated your contribution. Guys, if you're watching this back, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. And as I said, the Ko-fi link is in there as well. Finally, massive shout out to our friends at Tactics FC. I kept saying the name wrong before. Tactics FC, guys, all your sports podcast needs, all your sports news, do check them out. Lots of love to you guys as well. You know I love each and every one of you. Don't ever comment on my wife's breasts again. It's just no, we don't do that. But love each and every one of you. Talk about my boobs all you want. They're magnificent. Chat to you guys soon. Up the motherfucker.